Prepare yourself for Earthling Entertainment, the perfect blend of paranormal and pop culture, with your host, Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Greetings, and welcome to another episode of Earthling Entertainment with your hosts, Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Why, hello. I'm your host who's starting to worry he's being mentally controlled by telepathic ants sitting on his shelf, Joe Wakefield.
I knew that ant farm was going to come in handy. Hi, I'm Ryan.
Hi. Hey guys, welcome to Earthling Entertainment, this wonderful podcast where we mold together everything paranormal and pop culture. And in fact, that's what we're going to tell you about right now. Our first half is anything creepy and spooky,
Yep.
in a section we call spooky stuff.
Oh.
Sometimes it's cryptozoology or a haunting or a myth or a legend, but it's definitely always spooky.
Yeah.
That, of course, is followed by a segment we call Disclosure Discussion. Well, that one's all about aliens.
I'm just asking questions about aliens, extraterrestrials, UFOs, any kind of stories about underwater UFOs, like anything we've been seeing lately. Any of these crazy congressional hearings we've been hearing about.
Yeah, hearing about hearings. That's
Hearing
what we're
about
talking.
Yep, there
Hearing
you
about
go.
hearings and talking about talking.
There you go. That's going to be the new segment.
Hearing
Hi.
about hearings.
That's what we do there.
Excellent. The next section is called Real World Weird, and that's where we cover strange stories that don't fall into the paranormal category, but is something we still want to cover. Then, the second half of the show is all the pop culture entertainment stuff. So sometimes we have celebrity guests.
Mhm.
You know, this is one of those times.
It is.
Yeah, we have Brandon Slagle, who's the director of a new film called Affinity. We have a whole awesome interview with him coming up later.
Very awesome.
And then we also sometimes, not today, we have pop culture games. We talk about celebrity deaths. We have genre news. It's a whole lot of pop culture. And then those two sections,
Mhm.
the first half, which is the spooky,
Okay.
and the second half, which is the pop culture,
Yeah.
come together and form a delicious cafeteria-style peanut butter ball we like to call Earthling Entertainment.
Cafeteria style?
Yeah, well, that's the only time I've ever actually had them, in the high school when they got like the ice cream scoop and they just straight up scooped peanut butter and were just poured chocolate on it. I really don't think there was anything else they did. I guess they may have mixed sugar in with peanut butter.
That's wild.
Do you
I don't-
remember this?
No, not at all.
Huh.
And I'm a peanut butter addict. Like
Huh.
I have a problem.
I mean, they were like $1.50 in the cafeteria.
Oh, they're all mine.
Well, that was like 20 years ago, man.
Give me all of the peanut butter balls. I
Fair
like
enough.
I like the balls. The peanut butter balls.
So, guys, Ryan is one of the biggest Star Wars fans ever. He really is. And he loved The Mandalorian. He has a bunch of Mandalorian helmets. And the new trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu just came out, and he didn't watch it.
I did not.
So that was our planned banter for the pre-show. So
we didn't talk about it.
I'm just gonna. Well,
We didn't. You
You-
sent it to me, but
I
I didn't say
safely
I
as-
watched it.
okay. I sent him a trailer to a movie that he's been anticipating. Why would I think you wouldn't watch it?
There is actually, I do have a reason. I honestly, often when it comes to things I really like, I try not to watch too much about it.
This is coming out May of next year. It is a teaser.
So I'm going to see a lot more. So I
Well-
will eventually watch it, but I mean, yeah, I've watched everything. I watched all of The Mandalorian, of course, season 1, 2, then Book of Boba Fett, and then 3. I mean, you have to include Book of Boba Fett when you talk about Mandalorian, because like the last half Book of Boba Fett continues the story.
It definitely it bridges a weird gap between season 2 and 3, definitely. But when it comes to this new movie, the trailer, I don't know if anyone out there who's listening seen it, but it's basically just a preview of The Mandalorian Grogu. Nothing stands out to me, and I don't know if this movie's going to do very good because I don't
Bummer.
know if people are going to see it if they haven't seen the show, and I don't know if the people who've seen the show is a big enough audience to make it a big box office success. There are people out there who like their Star Wars is just the movies, and they're not watching these Disney Plus shows.
And you're right. And like I just explained, you know what I mean? Like you got to watch all of them to really know what's going on, because it is a very topic story driven show. I mean, technically, I guess they could start on a clean slate now. I don't want to spoil too much if anyone hasn't finished it, but they have
They
an
closed
opportunity.
most of the storylines.
Yeah, they did a good, so they could continue just with
I
a
mean-
completely fresh story.
Well,
you know?
it's going to be a completely fresh story. It's going to be a self-contained story. That's not the problem. The problem is who out there who isn't already a big Star Wars fan are you are you going to get it? Like, The Force Awakens was like $1 billion, $2 billion it made at the box office.
It was
I
such
don't-
a good movie.
Fair enough,
I
but
love
I
that
don't
one.
know if Grogu and The Mandalorian is going to get the same audience with people who just
You're right.
didn't see. Like, I mean, there was years between the other ones.
I feel like a weird analogy I can make for this. It's almost like the difference between when Pokemon makes like a weird off spin game, but then they come out with like a main game where you get a new 3 starters. There's a new 100 Pokemon in it. You know what I mean? Like those are gonna fly off the shell. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, weird analogy. But
Well, I mean, I know I do get what you're saying. I would, staying on the topic of Star Wars, I would say it would be like the mainline films, and then you got like Solo and Rogue One and things like that.
Yes.
So it does feel like an offshoot side story for sure. And it is.
It is. And
You know what it is? The Mandalorian wasn't very long. I mean, how many? 6 episodes, 8 episodes? This movie is essentially season 4 made into a movie.
and that's the way I was going to take it as well. And I even saw like in forums and stuff like that, like comments online that people were like, they didn't even know. I remember when season 3 first came out, people were like, wait a minute, how did they get back together? Because season 2 ends with them departing each other.
Yeah. So at
And-
the end of season 2, basically, the Mandalorian gives Grogu to Luke Skywalker to go train as a Jedi. And then at the beginning of season 3, Grogu and the Mandalorian are back together. The information was given in a 2 or 3 episode story arc in the Book of Boba Fett, which
Yeah.
is what Ryan was talking about.
Exactly. And that's when I realized, I'm like, so just because it got a bad rep, like people, for some reason, I don't understand. I really don't
People
understand.
don't like the
Book of Boba Fett. I loved it. That was one of my favorites, honestly, of all the series. And so I was just shocked to be like, y'all didn't watch Book of Boba Fett? And then I heard, I'm like, oh, because there was like a lot of like it went viral that like people didn't like it. So, and I think that happens. And we talk about it on the show a lot with expectation. You need to go into something with an open mind, in my opinion. Now, if you actually watch Book of Boba Fett and you legit walked away from it being like, didn't like it, then cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I just have a feeling that a lot of people like to just bang and wagon like, no one liked this, so I'm not going to bother.
Well, it's jumping on the hate train, and honestly, it gets more hits, it gets more clicks when people have a little, picture on their YouTube video of like, this movie tanked, or this movie sucked, or this is going to be a disaster. People care more than this is awesome. It's
The
just
the
it's
Hate
just the
Train
way-
was a less popular song by Yusuf though.
Yeah.
Peace Train did much better. That guy, that singer from the 70s, the hippie guy, and he made the hippie song. Peace Train.
You know what, Ryan? Speaking of train, no one can throw me off my track like you, bud.
Oh, dude, and I pride myself. I'm the perfect Joe Derailer.
I was on this rant and you threw me. I'm not a music guy. I'm sorry. All right. Anyways, Ryan didn't watch the Star Wars trailer, so we don't really have much more to say about that. But you know what? We have a lot to say about
What?
Bangkok, Thailand.
That's right.
That's kind of the theme that's tying this episode together because,
Tying.
oh, there you go. But like I said earlier, we have a wonderful interview with director Brandon Slagle, and his movie Affinity was shot in Thailand, in Bangkok mostly. And we're like, okay, well, it's an action movie. How do we tie that in to like an episode theme? And then we realized, well, the area. So Thailand is going to be kind of like where our alien and our spooky cryptids come from this week. So
And there was quite the abundance as well.
apparently
of
Thailand
these subjects.
It's a treasure trove.
Exactly. So we definitely have a good spooky stuff. It's been a while since we had like a pretty morbid and pretty spooky one. This one is
It's
pretty,
creepy.
It's pretty scary.
It's a little gross. It's a
Yeah.
little gross.
Yeah.
So sit back and enjoy this week's
Spooky stuff.
The Krasue.
not to be confused with the croissant, which is delicious.
That's right. Croissant. The Krasue is a female undead entity featured in the folklore of Thailand and other Southeast Asian countries. They're also known as Ap in Cambodia, Kasu in Laos,
Laos.
and thank you, Laos, and Penanggalan in Malaysia.
Penanggalan.
These strange and voracious beings typically appear as a beautiful woman's floating, disembodied head with internal organs and viscera hanging from her neck.
You had me at beautiful head, but the whole organs thing. You know what I'm reminded of is the 2014 RoboCop movie. They remade it. It was terrible, but there's one scene where they open up his robot body and they're like, "This is all that's left of you," and it really was like a spinal cord connected to like a few organs. It
No,
was
that was a
very
good.
horrifying.
I have seen that scene, and that I didn't watch that movie either, but that scene is good.
Yeah.
So, the organs usually include the trachea, heart, sometimes the lungs, and parts of the digestive tract. Traditionally, they also emit a luminescent glow.
Hmm. You know, it's like a
Krasue,
jellyfish. Now that I think about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Right?
Yeah, a little jelly. Oh, that's what the jellyfish UFOs are. They're just Krasues.
Well, now you just blew my mind.
There you go. Krasue are strictly nocturnal and roam the country by night, feeding on the blood and organs of both people and animals. If that's not available, they may feed on carrion or even feces.
Yeah, I read once that they kind of they try to hide among people because during the day they could take human form. We're going to mention that earlier. But some of the things they do is they like hide in the fields and will eat feces and other things to try to like secretly do it to so people don't call them out and know what they are.
Yeah, I think it covers that later as well. Yeah. So, like the unrelated aswang, I hope I'm saying that right. They also have the habit of seeking pregnant women and extending a long tongue or proboscis into their womb to feed on the unborn fetus and the placenta.
Gross, but kind of like a hummingbird, right? Or like that moth from Madagascar with a really long tongue.
I mean, that's a very sweet analogy for the
Yeah, you thought I was going to go dirty. I know.
disembodied head with all the organs just kind of dangling a boot.
Yeah, Madagascar moth.
Awesome. A Krasue is often not capable of killing and ingesting a human, but she has a taste for human parts. They can appear human during the day and only shift into their monstrous form at night. They do it by separating the head and entrails from the torso, leaving a headless and hollow body behind.
You know, this is it reminds me of the Manananggal, which was the
I was thinking
it was
that.
a vampire that could like break itself off at the waist and then it had entrails hanging out and it would fly away.
What's funny is I swear to God I didn't make the connection, but I was like, why was I thinking about the Muningle today? I'm like, what? Why was I think I was? It's so my memory was like trying to be like, hey, you remember this, and I didn't make that connection. If that body is destroyed, or if the Krasue cannot find it again before sunrise, the entity will die, for its disembodied form cannot stand sunlight.
Yeah, just like the Manananggal, same thing. If you kill the lower half when it's gone, that's a Achilles heel.
Huh. So, like I said, I remember the Muningle, and I was just thinking about it. Spikes and thorns can be used as protection against Krasue, as they tend to avoid them due to the danger that their intestines may get stuck, leaving them helpless.
Yeah, plus it'd be really embarrassing.
Right, and they actually do feel embarrassment. Some believe that the Krasue are ashamed of their curse and try to avoid human interaction, especially in their beastly form, as much as possible. So, do the Krasue exist as their own type of creature? Are they cursed humans or something else? While the legend crosses multiple countries and includes slight variations, most believe that Krasue is the ghost of a woman who is punished for her sins. These sins can be being disloyal, lying, or even using black magic. After dying, her spirit is cursed to roam the earth without a body, only a floating head with dangling organs. To this day, there are headlines and reports of folks in rural areas blaming livestock deaths and other oddities on a Krasue infestation. In fact, there are even patrol squads set up after a reported Krasue rampage to help keep villagers at ease. Though the origins of the Krasue are unclear, her presence has become a fixture throughout multiple southeastern cultures. In fact, there are several movies dedicated to this strange creature, like the recent film Inhuman Kiss of 2019. The movie focuses on an innocent young woman is the unwitting host to a Krasue, a demon who causes havoc in her village as it searches for vengeance at night. Despite the centuries of rumors, it's clear that the Krasue remains an image of fear and, perhaps, pity among those who know her tale. A famous legend regarding the origin of these creatures suggests that the first Krasue was originally an Angorian princess who refused to marry a Siamese nobleman due to her love for a soldier. The Siamese government condemned her to death by burning. The princess sought help from a sorceress who produced a spell to make her body immune to the fire. However, the spell started to act too late, and most of her body was consumed by the flames, leaving only her head and internal organs intact.
That is rough because, like, I don't know what else to say, but that is rough. Like a spell gone wrong where it's like, well, you're immortal, but you could, in this case, are a disembodied head with a bunch of organs. You know what I also thought would be screwed up is if you ever make the wish like Wishmaster and you're like, I want to live forever. And you do, but you still age. So you just get like more blind, deaf, decrepit, not being able to move, but you can never die.
Make your wishes.
Exactly.
I used to love that movie. That movie was crazy.
I liked all four of them.
I like the first and second.
The fourth one wasn't bad, but the fourth one, they called it the prophecy fulfilled. And you know what, Ryan? Spoiler, the prophecy was not fulfilled.
Oh.
Yeah. Bad title.
It's almost like the djinn can't be trusted.
Pissed me off. No, I'm serious though. Like as a younger man, I went into it. I'm like, oh shoot, we're gonna go like apocalyptic because we build up in those movies. If you answer these three wishes, craziness will happen. If you finally answer all three, what I don't remember, hell on earth or they take over something, but never came to fruition. And then they name a movie and they're like, hey, it'll happen, and it doesn't. It's awful. It's like Terminator Salvation. I'm pissed.
It's
Anyway.
almost as bad as being burned alive and becoming a Krasue.
Yes.
Almost as bad.
It is a 1-to-1 comparison to being a head with dangling organs.
The scale, it's balanced, bro. I don't know which way to go. But seriously, this was a crazy story, and it's a very famous story. When I was doing research on this, I found multiple articles, so you guys can go ahead and check it out yourself. The Krasue of Thailand.
Well, that was creepy as hell. And let's just, like I said, let's stick to Thailand and check out some alien stuff over here on this week's
Disclosure discussion. Ha 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 ha. It's about aliens and stuff.
Aliens in Thailand. Villagers claim UFO sightings are common here. Vlogger goes to investigate. This comes to us from economictimes.com.
Not what you would expect.
Are UFOs real? For the residents of Keokala, a mountain region in Thailand, the answer is a resounding yes. Many locals claim they have witnessed unidentified flying objects at least once in their lives.
I thought I saw one the other day. I was walking my
Really?
dog. Yeah, I was walking my dog, and I look up, and I'm like looking at the moon, and there's this light right next to this moon. It's pretty bright, and so I'm paying attention, and it doesn't seem to be blinking like a plane. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna ignore it for like a few minutes, and then look up again, see if it moved, because from my eye it didn't. And then when I look back up, it was still there, and I was just like mind blown because I'm sitting there. I'm like, man. Did I finally see a UFO? I've always wanted to see a UFO. And then Ryan texts me and he's just like, hey, Venus is visible right next to the moon.
Yep, that was Venus and one other star. It was just to the lower right of it as well, was visible during that night. But what a cool, it's really sweet.
I was disappointed. I didn't actually think it was an alien. I actually knew it had to be something like a planet because it didn't move at all. Because if it was a UFO, they move. They don't just stay put. I mean, they don't move like a plane, but they move. They're not going to just stay there.
Well,
so
we've had
and then you confirmed it literally like clockwork. It was crazy.
Well, and we've had a lot of really cool shit with the planets this summer, honestly. Like they were like all in a line. Like I remember like looking in the sky, like I know constellations pretty well. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And, I bust out the sky map. I still use the old school sky map app, and straight up, like it was all the planets are just hanging out in the sky like this whole summer. It's been awesome.
Well, it is awesome, but it's no UFO party, which apparently is happening in Thailand.
Right. So, content creator Travis Leon Price recently visited the area, often dubbed Thailand's Area 51 to explore the mysteries surrounding these alleged extraterrestrial encounters. Price documented his experience in a video shared on social media where he engaged with a local who insisted that UFOs appear in the sky almost every day. The local guided him through the area, which features a dedicated UFO club and Buddhist statues where visitors meditate, hoping to communicate with alien beings.
Makes sense.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Toward the end of the video, Price participated in a nighttime UFO watching session, capturing footage of twinkling lights in the sky. Price's footage sparked discussions online, with many sharing their own alleged sightings. One viewer commented, "I see the orbs too. I have a flight radar and track satellite coordinates to ensure that I'm seeing what I can't explain."
See, that is a guy who does his due diligence.
I like that.
That's not just a me who looks up in the sky and says, "Hey, it's Venus, a UFO." I'm a fool. We need more people like this with their own radars.
Yes, sir, we do. The orbs could very well be military UAVs too, or other secret vehicles. But for now, I call them orbs. Another user claimed, "I've personally seen those things. They look like stars and move in any direction, not too fast, but they clearly travel, and they are not planes." Keokala has gained international attention due to its reputation as a UFO hotspot. According to a 2019 CNN report, some believers claim they can hear alien voices while meditating on the hill.
Do they meditate using ayahuasca?
I don't know. It is not mentioned in this article. However, locals warn that sightings are not guaranteed, as the appearance of UFOs is said to be unpredictable. You don't say. In 2024, the region hosted Thailand's first ever UFO music festival. Attendee Siwadan Chantanwiski
Sure.
told the South China Morning Post, "I was just saying that the aliens probably knew that the event was happening and would seize the chance to show that they are real." He added, "I thought they might fly past, maybe just pop up for a moment. I had the strong feeling." Later, Chantanewski claimed he saw a UFO, describing it as a very large ship and the brightest thing in the sky.
If there was a music festival and it was an alien music festival, you know that famous sounds that they played in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where it's like dun dun dun,
Yeah.
dun. Well, if you were an EDM artist at that festival, you'd have to make like a mix of that.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, it seems like a missed opportunity.
Do a bit of that, maybe like the weird music from Arrival, like those big octopus aliens.
I liked Arrival.
I did too.
Yeah. You know what else I liked? Cocoon. Nothing really to add.
I got nothing to add either. I don't think I saw it.
Just like a bunch of old people get spry thanks to alien eggs.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that doesn't sound so bad.
it's a weird one. Ron
So we
Howard,
just-
I think, did it.
Like you eat alien eggs?
No, they're like in a swimming pool, and then they swim in the swimming pool, and then they become like more virile.
I'm down. I'll get in that pool.
Yeah,
I
it's
could
weird.
use it, man.
The
I'm tired as
problem is
fuck.
You're never. And Steve Gutenberg is in that movie.
Huh.
Yeah, you're never gonna be able to see the first one though, unless you have it on VHS or DVD, because something about music rights, but you can't stream it anywhere. The second
Wah,
one's
wah.
available, but it's like it it's the second one. It's not it's not
You're
not as
right.
good.
You're right. Not as good. So while the debate over UFOs and extraterrestrial life continues, Keokala remains a fascinating destination for those intrigued by the unknown. This come to you from Disclosure Discussion, Earthling Entertainment.
And go see Cocoon.
Go see Cocoon, evidently. So, Joe, there is a infestation in my house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And you just moved, so that's no.
it's wild.
This is a bit. What are we doing?
Oh no, it's not a bit. This is real.
Okay, what's going on?
These fuckers are everywhere. Labubus.
Okay, I've heard of this, and I got to be honest. I've heard of this because of South Park. That is the only reason why I've heard of this. Is okay. So they're the new Beanie Babies or whatever. They're the new Pokemon cards.
They're
They're the
the new
collectible thing.
thing.
They were what was it? The Vino Pops or a few years ago, or Funko Pops.
So my
What is a Labubu?
lovely girlfriend.
No, hold on. What is a Labubu? I'm serious.
A Labubu is a little cute little guy that it's like got a cute little face. It reminds me
It's like
of
a plushie.
It reminds me of where the wild things are.
Okay.
The monsters with the big smiles, with the sharp teeth, but they're cute.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I mean? That's the best way I can describe it. It's like little Where the Wild Things Are monsters, and they come with clips, so you put them on your backpack, on your bag, maybe hang it off your belt,
Fair
and
enough.
and it's become like a status. It's become like a thing. Like, and now you
Oh,
can buy.
like Jeep people in rubber duckies.
That's right.
Okay.
And you can now you can put outfits on your Labubu.
So we're Build-A-Bearing this shit. All right, but you say you have an infestation. Your girlfriend? is
My
buying it?
lovely girlfriend loves these things and helped me get a couple for my kids because even they were asking because
Oh.
it's the thing. So
I never think I'm out of touch or getting older until there's some weird fad I know nothing about until South Park talks about it.
dude, it's and it's so awesome that it made South Park, and her and I watched it and she laughed her ass off. It was a great episode. And but yes, so honestly, at the end of the day, it's weird what kind of things become popular.
It is weird. It's really weird. There's people out there who would sell their house for Beanie Babies back in the 90s. And what would you sell for a Labubu, Ryan?
Well, for a Labubu, I would probably just pay money.
Well, there's a Russian girl who went a bit farther. We're going to talk about it on this week's
Real World Weird.
Russian woman sells soul to buy Labubu dolls.
And I assume we're talking about her immortal soul and not cut off pieces of a shoe.
I'm assuming as well.
Excellent.
That was a brilliant deduction. This comes to us from coast to coast, AM.com. A Russian woman may be at risk of eternal damnation after she literally sold her soul for a rather paltry sum that she then used to buy Labubu dolls.
Could have skipped the middleman and just sold your soul for the Labubus directly. Go to the manufacturer. What would the company give you for your soul?
Just summon it. I mean, you do have to draw a pentagram when you buy them online.
The South Park reference, yeah.
Straight up. No, that's what my girlfriend said. You have to. No, it's real. When you buy one, you've got to draw a pentagram before they let you, because they are demons. It's a real thing.
We can't say that, Ryan.
Why?
Because it's not a joke. You're saying, no, for real, there's pentagrams.
It's true.
No, it isn't.
Yes.
You fucking kidding me?
No. She showed me the video. I could bring it up for you.
Yes, bring it up. This is crazy.
No, they straight up do it. You are keeping all this audio.
I will keep all of it. If you're not messing with me, I'll totally keep
I
this
am
on.
not. Oh my God.
Okay.
I am not kidding. You had to
It's
do
not-
a pentagram, and when you buy it from the website, you have to do a pentagram before you buy your Labubu. Oh, there it is.
You're just showing me a still image. That doesn't tell me that.
Here we go. Draw your lucky pattern. And you have summoned your Labubu.
All right, guys. Apparently Ryan is correct,
That's right.
and I am speechless.
Dude, that's why South Park was so on the money. We literally have kids
I am
doing little rituals to get their Labubus.
I am not a religious man, but I kind of get why people are like, it's the end times. Oh my God.
They're demons.
I just continue the article then. You just blew my mind.
They're just mischievous, though. They try to help. They just tend to make mistakes.
I mean,
fun little mistakes.
Troll dolls just sing about their hair.
Not these guys. The bizarre exchange was reportedly the brainchild of a marketing expert identified as Dmitry, who conceived the idea of a social experiment. In an ad posted on Russian social media, he offered approximately $1,100 to anyone willing to part with their soul and confirm the sale with a contract signed in their own blood.
Naturally.
While he thought the proposition would be taken in jest, Dmitry quickly received a response from a 26-year-old woman named Karina, who was willing to go along with the devilish deal. Detailing this exchange in a subsequent social media post, Dmitry marveled, "I just bought my first soul."
And now I got a taste for it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Dmitry in 100 years is going to be ultra powerful.
He's going to be Shao Kahn
Oh.
from Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
just absorbing souls. I definitely feel like Davy Jones right now. Wrong reference, sir. As for Karina,
Ours was better.
that's right. As for Karina, An understandably intrigued Russian media outlet managed to track her down and learned that she had no reservations about the unusual deal. Pressed on how she spent the money, the young woman revealed that it was largely spent on Labubu dolls and a ticket to a folk concert.
I mean, it does add a little bit of a level when I mean, what folk concert?
That doesn't specify. I wish they did.
Yeah.
Because, I dig folk. I like different kinds of folk.
I'm just curious, like, after you sell your soul, you buy some little demonic toys. What do you go see? What do you listen to? Me, personally, Kesha.
Oh, I was thinking
don't know.
Fawn.
Oh, well,
Where
that's
you-
a real one.
That's
I like
yeah,
Fawn.
yeah. I know. I like Fawn too. You turn me on to Fawn. I love Fawn.
Yeah, Fawn's great.
I like
Fawn's
torturing
great.
my coworkers who have never heard music like that, and I just blast it. I just blast Fawn. Thank you.
That's kind of
You
epic, yeah.
you guys showed me a band that never happens.
Yeah, fair enough.
I love them.
Well, guys, if you thought that was weird, we got another one for you. Now, this next story, it's a big one. I like it. Did I cut you off short?
Nope, not at all. Not at
Excellent.
all. Man in scuba gear robs Disney riverboat restaurant and swims away. Scuba Steve, away. In a wild story out of Florida.
Yeah, it's always Florida.
It's always Florida. A scuba-clad man brazenly robbed a Disney riverboat restaurant and then swam away from the scene of the crime.
No, not worried about alligators, that guy.
I saw this video.
Yeah.
The bizarre heist reportedly occurred late Monday evening at the popular Paddlefish Eatery, a faux vessel moored on the shore of Lake Buena Vista at the spacious amusement park's Disney Springs complex. That was a tongue twister. According to police, the committed crook first swam up to the restaurant and surreptitiously stashed his... Oh my gosh, these words.
Yeah, he took off his scuba gear.
He
Keep
took
going.
off the gear and boarded the boat. The man then made his way to the manager's office where he found two coworkers counting the day's cash deposit. After tying up a pair of compliant employees, the thief took approximately $10,000 to $20,000. So they don't even know.
Yeah, roughly.
That's not good.
That's pretty good for a day's restaurant, though, right?
No, that's great for a day's restaurant, but it's not good that you're 10 grand off of what you think what you had.
Well, to
what
be
he
fair,
took.
they were in the middle of counting it, Ryan. It says so right
Oh.
there.
It's the perfect crime.
Yeah.
Amazingly, in a manner akin to aquatic D.B. Cooper, the crook made his escape by putting the scuba gear back on, jumping into the lake, and swimming away. Although police invest...
I think that's funny, but like, that's how he got there. How would he leave?
I mean, yeah. Quick,
It's
take
not
a Peter copter.
Hold on. Yeah, like, hold on. Let me call an Uber.
Pick me up from the restaurant. Yeah, the Paddlefish Eatery. Thank you. Although police investigating the case released a rather creepy image of the suspect spray painting a security camera upon boarding of the boat, it remains to be seen if the photo contains any valuable clues, as the man was completely covered, including wearing goggles over his eyes. Yeah, I saw the video. They're not going to know who the heck this guy was.
I mean, not unless he slips up.
Yeah, he's going to have to... Yeah, if he keeps his mouth shut, he can keep that. He can keep that, and he could live the rest of his life like, I did it. I did it. I robbed Disney. Well done.
You know what's funny is Disney probably didn't even, like, it says that they pretty much didn't care. $20,000 to them is not that much money.
I was about to say it would cost them more to bend over and pick that up.
Kinda.
Like it really would. In a testament to the magic of Disney, the restaurant opened at its regular time on Tuesday with park guests none the wiser as to what has occurred there just hours earlier.
Like we said, Disney couldn't care less.
Oh, they just swept that right away. Welcome to the most magical place on earth. Yes.
Anyways, that was kind of weird. And that also is the end of the first part of our show. We're going to jump into the pop culture section where, like I said, we have a wonderful interview with director Brandon Slagle about his new film, Affinity. But before we do that, we have a brief ad for Freehold Ghost Tours. So enjoy.
The historic town of Freehold, New Jersey is known for many aspects. A tight community, the talented Bruce Springsteen, beautiful architecture, and structures tracing back hundreds of years. We are even home to a famous teenage witch and her sassy black cat. Most importantly, we are known for the Battle of Monmouth, which is credited for turning the tide in the American Revolution. What isn't commonly known is, for some places in Freehold, their old residents never left. Freehold Ghost Tours takes you on a leisurely walk through downtown Freehold and shares with you dark history, hauntings, and legends of our beautiful town. Stories consisting of true accounts from current and former residents and business owners, snippets of the past left behind by the living and the dead. Come hop on the Dark History and Hauntings of Freehold tour. Dates and spots are limited. Tickets can be purchased on freeholdghosttours.com. That's freeholdghosttours.com. With ghost stories, history lives on forever.
Hey, this is Ryan Casada.
And the Top Surgeons.
And we are headed to Detroit for our first ever full band show in the city. We're playing on 9/26 at Current Art Studio.
We would love to see you there.
Come to the show!
Woo!
Earthling Entertainment Special Report!
1. Christopher Nolan has been elected the president of the Directors Guild of America.
2. A new survey by the Russia Public Opinion Research Center has found that a whopping 79% of Russia's residents believe in the existence of aliens.
3. Daredevil Born Again has officially been greenlit for Season 3.
This has been an Earthling Entertainment Special Report.
Ah, those special report gremlins. You know what I liked about this one, Ryan, is how in the middle they just had a random alien fact. You know, not just pop culture.
I did find that a little weird. That was different. like they don't normally do that, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it indeed. So, guys, we have made it to the second half of the show and our celebrity guest interview with Brandon Slagle. So, yeah, this is awesome and enjoy.
Brandon Slagle is an American filmmaker and former actor, recognized for his contributions to the action, thriller, and science fiction genres. Today, we're sitting down with him to talk about his new film, Affinity. Chilean martial arts star Marco Zaror is Bruno, an ex-SEAL struggling with PTSD. He lives his life in fear of his demons until one day when he discovers a beautiful woman with no past of her own. Together, they begin to build a life, but when she disappears, Bruno must return to his violent past if he's going to save her from a shocking conspiracy in this riveting, fast-paced sci-fi action film from director Brandon Slagle.
That's right, and we are actually sitting down with Brandon Slagle right now. How you doing, man?
Yeah, you could even say we're in the same room, maybe. I mean, the audio quality is so good.
Who's to say, really?
You can never tell. You'll never know.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this film, we were lucky enough to watch it ahead of time. It comes out for everyone on, if you are a physical media person, on the 30th. So that's
Nice.
great news. They're going to have Blu-rays and DVDs. Do we have any streaming set up yet?
Yeah, it's the same day. Everything's the same day.
That's perfect, man.
Yeah.
So, tell us about your experience making this movie. I mean, first off, you shot it in Bangkok, and that sounds amazing. Was there any particular, I guess, obstacles when you shoot overseas as opposed to shooting on this side of the pond?
Well, this is I've done numerous things in Bangkok before, so by now I have pretty much a good network of people there, and I know a lot of the crews and have go-tos. But even the first time I shot there, a few years before, they're so welcoming, and the people are so kind to you that there's always problems on every shoot, but they just welcome you with such open arms that it really minimizes what you think would be or would have more of a learning curve.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's probably great that you have probably set places you like to stay and shoot. So scouting locations and stuff, I'm sure you already had a bit of an idea of where you wanted to go.
A little bit, yeah. There's actually you see an exterior from one of my other movies in Affinity, which I think the DP Nico did on purpose. But yeah, it's a really interesting place because it's not overshot like a lot of places in LA or I guess you could even say that Atlanta's very familiar to people at this point. So there's just so much rich architecture and different types of landscapes or in urban areas that it shows that you can really just kind of build a world here that is, it's Bangkok. I think it even says Bangkok at one point. But it really could be like a fictional unnamed city.
I felt that way too.
I remember seeing Thailand on the back of I think it was the driver, the dude
Yeah,
who
the
was
tuk
on
tuk
the
guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I remember seeing
yeah.
that on the back. So I have to ask, as a director, how do you approach shooting an action scene?
Because this
It's
film is full of action, man.
It is.
there's a couple fights in it, I've heard. So I don't know. It's something that I've always loved, but you also have to have an understanding of the emotional side of it and the story side of it, so that it still fits with the character and fits with what the driving motivation is. Because if you don't have a good performer doing it, or you don't have something driving him or stakes, then you could do really great action and it won't land, you know. Um,
Yeah,
and
action without narrative purpose is just visual noise.
yeah, and unfortunately, I think there's been a lot of that, and it's because, for a while, and it's sort of slowing down now. It was so easy to pre-sell an action movie, um, that was done in like a week with like a Bruce Willis or Aaron Eckhart type, um, that has sort of faded from what they used to be. Um, so it kind of saturated the market, but there's still people that really know what they're doing, like Marco, obviously, Scott Adkins, obviously, another one. And then as far as myself, I from a very, very young age, I started training martial arts, and just always developed like a certain like sense of how to frame it and how to present it, Um, and I think in past movies, when you don't have the performers or the money for performers, I'd use more cuts and stuff like that. But the past few years, I've had access to people who can really do the stuff, and it's sort of thrilling to the audience to show the person they're following really doing it, rather than a double or cutting away from it quickly, like in Taken 3.
Yeah.
Which I guess a notorious example now, or something like that. Like
The new Snake Eyes, the G.I. Joe movie, they did it. It was shaky cam and just really quick cuts the whole time, and I didn't know what the hell was
yeah,
going on through the whole fight.
I was really looking forward to that too. Coming from, being 5 years old when that brand of GI Joe was
At the
was a
pinnacle of
came out.
popularity. Yeah.
It's like something I was looking forward to. But yeah, the shaky cam doesn't even fit with that movie, because most of it's very clean and glidey, and then all of a sudden, when there's any kind of action, even with like Andrew Koji as Storm Shadow could really do it, it starts doing this.
Yeah.
Like what is come on, guys.
That was something that really stuck out with with this film. Is it just, I don't know, it almost felt like Matrix style, like fighting, like you were really in it, like you could see
It
every
was shot
move,
with confidence.
every single move. Like it was really cool.
Yeah. The DP, Nico, this is the third movie I've done with him, and he also shot Prisoner of War with Scott, that came out this week, that my friend Lewis directed. And he shot Diablo, that had Scott and Marco in it, that came out earlier in the summer. And he just, the first time he and I spoke, we really just clicked, and he understood that there's a certain style that I like, a lot of times you'll see a slight like shake during the impact of hits and stuff like that. Like he does that's something I like to have, just to feel more like you're there. And
yeah.
he really, I never had to explain that to him. He got how to do it. Because some people, you could say, okay, it shakes when you kick someone in the head, but then there's still a control to it. Like it should just be like very, very subtle. And when you're camera operating, I was about to demonstrate it, but I forget this is audio. So use your imagination, people. It's really subtle. Like you probably can't even see my hand shaking, but that's as much as you have to do it when you're operating on camera. Whereas some people, you tell them to do it, and they do snake eyes.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Where you can't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Nico used to have a roommate who shot a lot of previs for Marvel movies. And for those of you who don't know what previs is, it's like when you watch the bonus features of The Matrix and you see the Hong Kong stunt team performing all the actions with cuts and stuff like that. So he used to shoot that kind of thing. So he had, aside from having great composition and lighting skills, he just knew how to do it.
Awesome, man. Well, what I was going to say is there was so much done with intention. There's a scene in particular that blew my mind when it came with what you guys did of choreography. Is without getting anything away, somewhere towards the middle of the film, our main character Bruno, is held captive in a chair and he's about to be shot in the head, and he escapes in such a way, if you don't mind me describing it, by using his feet to redirect the gun that was about to shoot him,
Yes.
point it towards a different captor, and get out that way. He hops to his feet, and that scene above all blew my mind, because anytime I've watched or read or was writing my own story of how does a character get out of an impossible situation, it's always hard to visualize something unique, and that was a very unique thing that you did there. And I wanted to compliment and say, like, where did that come from? Was that a conception in the script?
That may have actually been in the script. I haven't looked at it in a while.
Sure, yeah.
But it may have been there. But even still, you need the people that can actually do it. And since Marco was one of the co-writers of it, obviously he could write in things that he knew he can do. And for anyone that's seen John Wick 4, you know, he's kind of stands head to head to Bill Skarsgård, so he's a big guy. And Skarsgård's a big guy. Marco showed me videos of them on set, and he's huge. He's like a basketball player. Skarsgård.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think the way that he's shot, a lot of times you don't see it, but there's like I saw a video of them. You know, there's a scene towards the end of the movie where they make the decision to have the standoff with Wick, and like everyone's there around them, and it's them walking out in front of the. I didn't sleep enough, I guess, in France.
Sure, yeah.
And like Skarsgård is almost the top of his head's almost hitting the door frame, like the stormtrooper in Star Wars. Like he's huge. And Marco is an inch or two shorter, but also very big. And so you don't see a lot of really big guys do a lot of like almost weightless moves that he has. Dolph Lundgren is a good comparison size wise, and you don't see him flying and spinning 720 in the air and
not
stuff
as
like
graceful.
That. Yeah. So it really aside from, you know, just showing Marco in an English lead, it really displays a lot of his skill to people who may not have been familiar with him before.
Definitely, yeah. The action scenes were incredible.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you were kind of mentioning already a scene that you loved. I couldn't help but ask. We love the first person perspective in the opening action scene. Was this inspired by like real life body cam footage or a Call of Duty type video game?
Closer to the video game, but the idea of it is the entire movie is essentially from Bruno's perspective. So starting that way, aside from it being, you know, post-traumatic stress and his memories of his brother dying, it's to put you in his eyes. And I don't remember the exact conversation, but something that Nico, the DP, Marco, and I had is the opening shot. It sort of starts on, I think, the scope and then goes into Marco's eye. That's like the trigger to subtly tell the audience that that's the perspective you're seeing throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
That frames everything else.
Yeah.
Was there like a certain video game you really liked?
I will say the Doom movie, the one with Carl Urban and The Rock from way back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
The movie's just like kind of okay. You know, most of it could have been an adaptation of anything, but that scene where it kind of does something similar to this, actually, where you see Urban looking in the mirror, and then we're there with him.
Yeah,
turns and suddenly a first person perspective.
Yeah, total first person shooter style.
Anyone remembers from that movie.
Sorry. I'm also reminded of the terrible House of the Dead movie that Ubal did. Because he did a first-person perspective in that House of the Dead movie, the made for Sci-Fi Channel original movie from early 2000s.
I somehow missed that one.
Most people did.
I saw it, but you seem to remember it far more vividly than I do.
Yeah, for whatever reason, his film catalog came on sale, so it's not important.
Yeah.
I remember the arcade.
The main thing I remember from that movie is like every time a character died, it would do this 360 pan that almost looked like a video game death. Like you know how there's always animation after you win, like in Mortal Kombat, you do the fatality or whatever, and then there's extra. Like that's what that stuff in House of the Dead reminded me of. And I remember that stylistically it didn't fit with any of the rest of the movie.
No,
It would go
yeah,
from
it
being
was
like Night of the Living Dead on an island to let's do a Matrix 360 because that just happened last year.
well, moving a camera with no intention just seems strange, which is another reason why I
Yeah.
really loved the action scenes that you did in this film. Because, for instance, the street fight after the main character Bruno wakes up after being drugged, all
Yeah.
of that movement was so intentional. Like we mentioned earlier with the camera shake with the hit, and it felt like a dance. And I wanted
Yeah.
to know, since Marco, obviously, he was one of the writers, he was one of the producers and the lead, how was collaborating with someone who is so involved with the DNA of the film? Like, did
He had
it,
actually had this story for many years. I think maybe not around the time of Undisputed 3, but a few years after that. Like he was in Battle Angel Alita briefly. I think that may be around the time that it was written. Um,
conceptualized? Yeah.
yeah, conceptualized is a better word because there were a couple of different writers and stuff over the years. And there was a different director originally, and it didn't work out with them, and there was a need for someone who knew the crews in Thailand, who knew action, and that was really kind of it. So Marco and I spoke on the phone for like 3 or 4 hours about anything but this movie. Just to, I guess, kind of, we were just geeking out about kung fu movies and stuff for endlessly. Um, and we decided to do it. And I introduced him to my DP Nico, who we went on to put in Diablo and stuff. And we really it was a really good collaboration because um, some of the stuff that he wanted to showcase in it, I didn't want to change. There was no reason to change it.
Sure.
Yeah, like the point of view of it being kind of through Bruno's eyes. It's written that way in a way, and there was no reason to make it more of a third person like most movies. It I think the standard thing would be to show more of the sci-fi element earlier on and show the villain is more of a mustache twirler and everything rather than this sort of like presence that appears here and there. But I think it grounds it a little more starting with Bruno and staying with him.
I agree. And honestly, when it comes to your mustache twirling villain, to me, he felt really real because
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's who villains are. They're
Yeah.
usually not inherently evil. They just have motivations that they're going to step on others to get. And, they might do bad things, but it's a means to the end to them. No one is the villain in their story. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And a lot of people tend to forget that. And so you get a villain that's not relatable. And I think the better ones are the ones that are relatable. And without saying too much beyond certain log line that's on the internet, the motivation
Search
of
if
the
you want.
villain, yeah, the motivation of the villain in this is really because based on a positive thing. It's because he cared for someone and he lost them. Um,
The
and then
road to
somewhere along
hell.
the way it became kind of like questionable,
It became like
which
an
you
ethical, like kind of like question. Like,
right,
was
exactly.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's understandable why he did it, but obviously you didn't think about the well-being of something
Anyone
that
involved. Like,
someone
what,
that's
what lines would you cross for love?
correct.
There's your
Yeah.
log line.
And you have to say it in that voice. That was actually kind of Marco's original idea with the concept was the ethical part of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I mean that to shoot in Thailand, you have to submit the script to the government, and so I think maybe there was a little bit of contention there just to make sure that it didn't look like it was really pushing like human trafficking and stuff like that, which it's not. And there's an avenue that the movie could have been taken that would have been like that, um,
That actually
but
makes
it
perfect sense.
yeah, but I don't think we. I don't think we really downplayed or omitted anything. I think maybe if anything, we may have taken out like references to this could be human trafficking.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
yeah. Um, and
Well,
so yeah, it does sort of start like it's just, people that are pickpockets and stuff like that, which is a real thing in tourism in the world. Um, but that's just sort of sort of connected backdrop, kind of a misdirect, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was perfectly framed. But you know what? Let's get on a fun positive note. What was your favorite part, your favorite experience while shooting this film? Is there any scene or particular instance that just you loved?
Or even a cool
Yes.
story?
So actually being on set and everything, it was one of the best times I've ever had. There were some things that Marco and I had to deal with, some of the suits behind the scenes that I won't get into, that stressed us out. But as soon as we got to set, it was time to be very happy and smiley.
Hanging out with friends.
Well, yeah, one of the best parts was actually in that alley fight in the beginning that you were talking about. There's an unbroken take that's for about 20 seconds and probably 45 moves, about 2/3 of the way through. And we spent the entire day shooting that scene after having rehearsed it so many times and everything. And when we finally got that one that just nailed it, me and one of the stunt crew, we were watching it on the monitors, and we like high five and hug each other and cheer, and like we knew that was the one. And I think we did one more for safety, but the one that got everyone cheering was the one that was in the movie. What's funny is, that we shot that whole thing for 12 hours, and like, yeah, Marco sweat, but he probably could have done that continuously for 36. Meanwhile, the stunt guys, who are very capable and some of the best in the world, they're the stunt team that we used was Tony Jaw's stunt team. So like we'd be rehearsing in one room in his gym, and supposedly like in the next part of the thing, he was editing a movie. So stuff always happens there. Yeah, about halfway they needed breaks, but Marco never did. He's just sort of inhuman. He's never drank, never smoked, never done drugs. He's just like he's basically spent his entire life preparing for what he does now.
That is fantastic. He's a tank of a human being.
Yeah. So
I mean,
that
he looks formidable. I wouldn't want to fight him.
Oh, he's like a big teddy. He's like a big teddy bear. But don't tell him I said that. Hopefully he doesn't listen to these. But no, he's just a decent person. Just so don't brainwash him to be the enemy, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, not at all, man. It was a likable lead, and I know this is pretty much his first time that the whole movie was resting on his shoulders. And I got to be honest, I think he carried it.
I think so too.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
No, I wanted to make sure he was vulnerable, and he had that softness to him. I personally think he has this kind of like Antonio Banderas thing to him, with being from Chile instead of Spain, that is appealing. So I wanted to push that without making him aware of it as much as I could.
That's cool.
So you guys, when someone's aware of
sorry,
it,
go ahead.
When someone's aware of something like that, then the mask sort of comes off.
So you filmed just that scene for 12 hours. Like, what kind of choreography training goes into that? Like, how long are they
before that shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were there a few weeks before we started shooting. So basically the stunt team would come to us with like a cut together version of like how they would choreograph and shoot the scene. And this is what you see on, like I was saying, on bonus features for the Matrix and everything. And then we sort of acclimate the performers into it, like Marco, or at the end of the movie, Brahim, who was the choreographer for Monkey Man, that fight has all the Steadicam and everything in the Thai house. We would adapt it to the performers, and it's hazy now because sometimes you get dehydrated in Thailand because you're sweating all the time. Actually, one of the times we were Brahim, Marco, and I were working on the fight at the end of the movie. We were working at this sports gym, and I remember I like walked out to go to the bathroom and almost passed out in the hallway because I didn't have enough electrolytes. And I texted Marco like, if I don't come back, I'm dead.
We need an IV of Gatorade.
But yeah, but to directly answer the question, it's really a number of things. It's the stunt team puts a certain degree of effort into it, and then we have a number of rehearsals to turn it into what's in the movie. And yeah, it's if it was something, if it was a bigger budget movie, like if it was a John Wick type movie, that would be like months. But because it's not, it's probably everything, once we got the previs, would be like 3 or 4 days on each fight.
Nice.
Yeah.
3-4 days. Gosh darn, dude. That's
mean-
well, I mean, job well done. Holy crap.
Absolutely. We know they say that a movie is written 3 times. Once for the script, once for the filming, and once for the editing. So as the director, how is your collaboration with the editors to make sure these action scenes and the beats happen the way you saw them happen? I know some people are more hands-on, some people are more hands-off. What is your personal experience?
Well, luckily, the editor on this one was Ernesto Diaz, who directed Diablo and did a few of Marco's South American movies, like Redeemer, where he has this is what I knew him from, was Redeemer, where he has the hoodie on and he's kicking on the cover. So he already understood action, and the way a lot of these scenes are shot is there's not. So, like, let's say we're shooting with 2 cameras the entire time. When it comes to the action or the hand-to-hand action, a lot of it is sort of shot in pieces where there's no other way to edit it.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
you'd have to really try to change how it looked.
Right.
Well, yeah,
so
like he
every
said,
now and
they
then
did the
you'll
whole
see
thing.
a cutaway to like the B cam or something like that, but a lot of it is very streamlined, where it's just kind of connect the dots. But there's still certain things that really help with the impact, like speeding up certain moves, or there's an old trick where, let's say, a punch is coming towards you. I'm demonstrating this again, like people are seeing it. But you
Mind's
guys
eye. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, let's say this is the last frame before the impact, it gets cut, so it looks like it, is quicker. If the performance is good, and like the reaction to it and stuff is good, then it looks more like a sudden, like, painful hit than just, sort of sweeping by someone's face.
Absolutely.
I really we're talking about a lot of action, but we had Jane, forgive me if I'm saying it wrong, Miro, as Athena
Yes.
in the film, and I thought she was just fantastic. And we even looked up her previous work. Looks like this might be one of her.
It's like her second film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
so
I think she has another one now, but this was her, like, debut.
right on. So how did casting her come about?
So I had suggested, like, certain names and stuff that I knew, but it seemed to make more sense if it was more of an unknown, so that there was no baggage there. And so she came in from a casting call in Bangkok, and she's a very like prolific fashion model there. And I forgot how many we saw. We saw a number of people. Like, first we would see reads, and I don't normally like the audition thing. Sometimes I like just to sort of vibe the person out. But this one was a little different, because there had to be, like, more of a screen test to make sure certain things clicked, and I'll get to why that's important, or why it was important for her. It really, in the end, it finally came down to her and another girl, and we filmed. I don't remember which scene. It was maybe the scene where she names herself. And we filmed a screen test with Marco with both girls, and there was another girl that was, her delivery and everything was really good, but she almost looked related to Marco.
Sure.
Like, she had kind of a similar, like, slender face and coloring, dark hair and everything to him. And then Jane's there was something like a reluctance there. Like, well, first off, obviously they don't look anything alike,
Right.
so you
Yeah.
wouldn't
Right.
you wouldn't mistake them as family. But there was just something, and my friend Lewis Mandler, who plays Joe, said it too. When Jane would look at you, there was this something about the way she looks at people. Really, just, it's almost like those memes where you see, like, Anna de Armas looking at whoever, and it says this is how the 6-pack of beer looks at you at 5 p.m. on a Friday.
Yeah.
Like it sort of like it makes you almost uneasy, but not at the same time. And this is just how she looks at people. And there's a few shots like where she's looking in camera, like a tear, or when
Yeah.
she's captured. Um,
It's
where
haunting.
That was the scene I was going to bring up.
Yeah,
Was
yes.
that last look she gives him.
Yeah, and this was just her as she was. I don't. Lewis came to me after he met her. He's like, this girl, her eyes. There's like something interesting there, and I don't think. Again, it's like trying to show the vulnerability and not telling the actor that's what you're showing. I don't know if she was so aware of it. I think that's just maybe why she works a lot as a model, is just that look that she has. It's
That does
like it's
compute.
looking,
Yeah, that makes sense.
it's looking through you, but at you at the same time.
You know, that is a penetrating stare for sure.
Yeah,
And
I think that was actually the phrase I was looking for.
yeah,
Nice.
Penetrating stare, yeah.
the character of Athena in this film, it, for better or worse, and for me better, it reminded me of Lilu from The Fifth Element, honestly, from Mila Jovovich's character. There's and there's a narrative reason behind this, but there's like a childlike innocence behind this person. You know, they weren't tainted yet by the evils of the world, almost.
Right. Yeah. She was like a shut-in, basically.
Yeah, and actually, I hadn't thought of the Lilu thing, but it makes sense. But that was another thing that worked about her, is it felt more fish out of water with her. Whereas the other girl, and there was nothing wrong, like there could have been a version where the other girl was used. But it just, with a lot of things that Jane did, it felt like it was the first time. Like, let's say when she meets Lewis's character, Joe, there's, I forget what line it is, but there's a reaction where he says some kind of a joke, and she looks confused and looks at Bruno like, what? Just little things like that may not even click at first, but once you know the full story of the character, then it makes sense why there's that naivety there.
Definitely. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I couldn't help but with Louis Mandalore, was there any Mandalorian quotes going around? I would totally be like, for Mandalore.
Yeah, I think
He probably hates that show, I'd imagine.
no, he's actually pretty self-aware. I think from some of the crew, yeah, and most movies that I've had him on, which there's an abundance of, he's someone has inevitably said that.
Oh, you gotta. It's right there.
Yeah.
You have a character in this film. She's kind of like the part of the three main soldier characters, which of course is Lewis, which is Joe, Bruno, and Finch. Brooke Ence, is that how you pronounce her last name?
Yes.
Yes. I was watching this film and I was like, you look very, very familiar. And she actually was in a few of the DC Universe films. She was in the Justice League and what was the other one? Wonder Woman. And I thought, wow, this woman is in Amazon before I even saw that. And I want to know, like, did you work with her before? And how was it working? Was there any differences working with her than there was with Marco, for instance?
No, I had never met her before. Fitch was written as, in the script, it's implied that Fitch is a guy, but the way that it was written, it didn't really specify. Like, it's kind of like the Alien script where, Dallas and everyone didn't really have like a gender attached to them.
Sure.
And then they just cast whoever was the best person. We had looked at a couple other people, and like the financier didn't really like them, and then the producer Adele said, "What about Brooke?" And she was like the women's world CrossFit champion for a couple of years, if I recall, and has this workout program called the Naked Workout that isn't what it sounds like.
Sure.
But I think it means like bearing your soul, not your skin. That is pretty popular, and she has clothing lines and stuff. And yeah, she was one of the Amazons. She's actually the one that's crushed in the Snyder Cut of Justice League. That's like that's probably like the biggest thing for her that was the difference between the two movies, because I think in Justice League she's more just there in the Joss Whedon version. That's a whole other conversation, isn't it? Um,
Yeah.
but a lot of people in that one are just there. Um,
Well, that's like you said, a whole nother story of let's put a movie together with pieces of a different movie. But when it comes to your movie, though, I wanted to compliment you because I think it was such a smart choice as a director, especially hearing that the character was written as either one, because casting a strong female in that role balanced out the Athena character to where you're not going to get anyone who's like, oh, savior, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, there's badass women in this film too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And they really pull their weight in some of these action scenes.
Yeah, like even though Brooke is more known for fitness, she was really easy to work with and adapted well. There's a really quick thing in the movie where she does the Black Widow thing where she puts her legs on their head and spins.
And spins them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would normally know the actual name for that, but she did that with like no rehearsal. And that was kind of done on the fly because we had something else for her that just wasn't really working out. And so her escape in that particular scene, we kind of improvised. But yeah, obviously she had the physical talent, but she's also she's humble enough to be able to, she took direction really well and really liked playing kind of like the guy's girl, I guess, which I think is a fun character to put in a movie. Because, you go to like any club or nightclub or whatever, and there's always the like best friend girl that's the wingman who could also kind of be the hot girl, but she's not. She's like the bro hot girl. I just coined a phrase.
Bro
yeah,
hot.
so I like having someone in there that's sort of like egging on the male lead. Like when there's a scene where Athena comes out with like normal clothes, and you see Brooke walk out and do a thumbs up, and we did like a bunch of takes where she did like devil horns and
Yes.
and other stuff where she's just like to me it makes it fun and it gives you someone else to relate to rather than just like repeating the same kind of character archetype over and over again, which a lot of these movies do.
Now I like both of the homies. I thought they were like really cool. Like they had really good chemistry.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The chemistry between Joe, Bruno, and Finch. I believed their friendship.
I really did.
Yeah.
Like it was fun.
There's the MOS scene that's in the montage, which reminds me of something from Kickboxer. Where they're just like at dinner and it feels like you're watching, even though you don't hear what they're saying, it feels like you're just watching some pals. Like Lewis, I obviously have that chemistry with. I've known him for half my life, I guess now. Jesus. And he's really good. One of the reasons I like to put him in things, aside from the fact that he's my friend, and he's really good at putting the cast at ease and kind of bringing everyone together. It's like using a secret weapon. So
he seems like a comfortable guy to hang out with.
Yeah,
and he can be intense too.
Oh yes. He can. He's really good at providing like some glue, so I can get him in there to like throw some surprises at the actors. Actually, in this movie, he came up to me. He's like, "Hey, Brandon, what if I do this?" Which we kind of do in everything, but it ended. I won't tell you what parts, but just some of the like little secret weapon ideas he and I would come up with got some really good reactions out of the other guys.
The way he yelled at Bruno in that scene when he was like, "Say that to me again."
Yeah, your father died in my fucking arms.
Yeah,
I was like, "Ooh, man, that I felt the emotion
very much.
Well done. I think that was the only take that was yelling. Like all the other ones were more calm. And right after we did it, sometimes you end up changing your mind. And I was like, is yelling at him the right thing now? But we still have the option just in case it's not. And when you see it cut together, it feels earned rather than just him being pissed off at his surrogate son.
Well, yeah, and he's sick of his shit. He's like, I got to pick you up from jail every other weekend.
Yeah, we all get to the point where,
and this isn't the backstory movie. It's, the moving on story. So you still have to have that established in this.
Absolutely, man.
No, definitely. So you guys, you said you geeked on like old kung fu films. Like, what was
Yeah.
the one?
Yeah,
like,
what's your kung fu film?
Yeah.
Well, mine is it's not really a kung fu movie, but its genre was hard boiled, and so a lot of it was how the movie's shot and presented, and how Tequila Chow Yun Fat's character is shown. Um, but that's a gun movie.
Yeah.
But we really clicked over Bruce Lee movies. I think we had a lot of the same like magazines and stuff when we were kids because we're close proximity age. Um, like we were both really sad about Brandon Lee passing, and both remember learning about it very vividly. Like I still remember I was like sophomore in high school, and my dad knocks on my door. Brandon Lee's dead. And I'm just like, what? That's a hell of a thing to wake up to.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So we had a lot of the same heroes and same kind of respect for them.
I mean, he didn't get to do enough films. I mean, obviously, The Crow was one of my favorite films growing up. Just I was one of those kids, and when
we definitely were.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had so the Affinity premiered at a festival a couple of weeks ago called the Big Bad Film Fest. And as part of the programming for the like 3 or 4 days that it ran, they did a special screening of Showdown in Little Tokyo. And they had the director, Mark Lester, doing a Q&A. And I told the guys, once Affinity was on it, that I'm good friends with the guy who edited it, who was a editor named Bobby Ferretti, who cut that and Die Hard 2 and Halloween Resurrection, but we won't hold that against him.
Everyone's got a bad day at the office.
Yeah. And just all these, I think he did like Gymkata and other things too.
Well, hold on, Gymkata?
I think.
Excellent.
But anyway, so I got Bobby on the Q&A too, and he and Mark Lester just had such good things to say about working with Brandon. Apparently, and even though I've known Bobby for about 10 years, Brandon would come in, and for those listening, I'm not talking about me. Brandon Lee would come in while they were cutting Showdown in Little Tokyo, and he would sit there just to learn the art of editing and how things are put together. Bobby actually told a story during the Q&A about how Brandon needed to get as part of his contract for every movie, he needed to get final approval on his fights to best show his brand, which, believe it or not, a lot of people don't get. I'm totally supportive of that, because when you have one of these martial arts guys, whether it's Marco or Scott or Statham or whoever, you need to show them for what they can do. That's why they have the audience they have. So you need to make sure that the integrity of that is intact. But yeah, he to continue the story of Brandon Lee and Bobby, he said that Brandon called him after he got signed for Rapid Fire and said, "Yeah, I got the clause in there that I approve my fights." So that's just like one little thing, and I like hearing these things because he's one of those guys like River Phoenix, where you feel like the playing field would have been different now had he lived.
Sure.
Like if River Phoenix continued to live, would there have been DiCaprio? I don't know. There's kind of like a proximity, like DiCaprio stepped in because there was that space. I don't, or maybe they would have coexisted. Who knows?
I mean, I always thought about if John Belushi hadn't died, how would Ghostbusters be different, or these other roles that they were intended for, or Chris Farley was supposed to be Shred.
Mine,
yeah. It's like, what would have been different?
It's such a different take too with a lot of these people. Like, yeah, Belushi and Bill Murray kind of look alike in a way, but they're totally different performers.
100%.
Yeah. One thing is the rumors that had gone around about Brandon Lee being the original idea for Neo. I think those turned out to be false, but you can also see how people could manifest that. Like, you have two Caucasian Asian actors, Keanu and Brandon. Like, of course, like maybe he would have gone up for Neo, but it's still such a different take because Keanu is such an everyman, whereas Brandon had more of that like upfront masculinity.
Yeah, a little bit more bombastic.
Yes.
In his performance.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And
Um,
we'd miss out on the
get
Keanu
teary-eyed.
lines.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, because the nature of filming movies, it's all about, how quickly can we get it done? Was there anything along the way that you had to cut? Was there a scene or an action sequence or a location or like for, the term, you had to, kill your babies? What baby did you have to kill here?
So it scripted, rather than work in a restaurant, Joe and Bruno, they worked in some kind of like tourist thing on the beach that gave boat tours to people who were. I think it was supposed to be like in Pattaya, which is about an hour south of Bangkok. But logistically, having boat tours and swimming in the ocean and shit that's kind of a lot, and it's not because it's not the focus of the story. The local producer, Andrew, suggested, why doesn't Joe run a restaurant? I think because a lot of foreigners that come there end up doing stuff like that. And Marco and I this was on a Zoom meeting, so we didn't like look at each other, but we both kind of paused, and at the same time we're like, you know what, that makes sense.
If you're saving yourself about 100 headaches.
Yeah, and it's like there was a scene where Bruno swims in the ocean and actually gets thrown in the ocean and stuff, and just that would have added days to the shoot, and that's not the fulcrum of the story. So, and I think the production value and the look of it is cooler being in a restaurant too.
And I felt like this is one of those movies where you're watching it and just the tone just switches up on you. Like, especially at the end.
Which I love.
At my risk of giving away too much on this film, at the end, you get to, like, because you do the whole thing, you're in Thailand, you're in Bangkok, and then all of a sudden, you find yourself just right into a sci-fi film.
Third act location.
Like, just completely different, like, different tone. It's bright. Everything's bright. Like, it was just, it was really cool.
You almost wonder if that kind of thing, I mean, I'm sure it does that exist? Like you could be living your normal life while meanwhile there's this other stuff going on.
Very much.
Yeah. I think it's plausible you could accidentally walk into that and be like, oh shit, oops.
What's happening in the world around us, right? When rich people can play with whatever they want.
Now I've ended up in some crazy facility.
That, like one of the Red Letter Media guys, like what's his name, Mike. Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
Wow. Not gonna lie, it gave me like total, like, I don't know, end of Fallout 4 vibes. Like honestly, like sorry, I keep making video game references. But
that's fine. For me, it was A Scanner Darkly a little bit with the flower fields.
Okay.
Which,
yeah.
So very, very cool.
Flower field. I mean, as a movie watcher, I'm sure it's obvious, but that was entirely CG. But it came out pretty well. A lot of movies in this budget range, the CG's just done really quick. But this company had actually been on it and or hired and had a long time to prepare. Like they went in knowing what the assignment was rather than it being dropped on their lap, like usually when you're in post on a movie.
I mean, it was beautiful, especially the shot with spoilers at the end when the characters are walking towards the camera, after everything happens. There's this beautiful slow motion sequence that just, I don't know, it really worked with me. And the visual effects, that team did do a great job.
I agree.
Yeah, wonderful.
I know the shot you're talking about. It's like it jibs down and they're happy. And I think
we're not going to tell you who's happy.
Yeah. When we shot that, it felt like, we're going back to the way life was. I think that was the discussion. Plus, you always got to end with a jib shot.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you can probably hear me self-censoring and not saying too much.
Hey man, we're all walking on rice paper here.
Yeah.
But so out of all the action sequence here, there's a bunch. There's back alleys. There's one towards the end that is
with all the swords.
It's a house. I don't want to say it's a temple. It's just a house in Thailand.
But
yes, that's what I was going to say. the ninjas I love that name, but that would be my favorite fight. All the katanas and the ninjas in the third act. What would be your favorite fight?
Well, quickly I'll say I keep trying to put ninjas in things and I joke about it and then I forget. And then I look back and I'm like, that guy in Arena Wars could have been a ninja. So, but that they were written just as like, the normal like black suit henchmen guys, right?
Like foot soldiers, what have you.
Yeah. And then I think the costume designer had something and they're like, well, what about if they're ninjas? And and I think this moment really was Marco and I looking at each other going, huh, ninjas.
Sweet.
Everything's better with ninjas and, it gives you swords and stuff. And so, so that's a favorite. The thing underneath the Thai house where there's like 10 of them and it's almost like round 1, round 2.
Yes.
And I will say in the premiere screening, there were people that were clapping at the end of each melee. And I'm like, yes, that's what's supposed to happen. Because you take that moment to breathe. Like ba 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 on Marco, clap. Time for the next one. It's that, and it's really quick, but it's sort of the precursor to the final fight between Brahim from Monkey Man and Marco, where it's in the restaurant, and after Marco knocks out a lot of the like foot soldier guys, then it's the character Krieger versus him. And if people who've seen the trailer, Krieger's the one in the purple suit. It's framed like a fighting game. I don't know how apparent that is in the edit now, but there's a shot where you see them both kind of standing there weaving. So Nico, Marco, and I are all big fans of like Street Fighter and King of Fighters and stuff like that, and so that was like a personal thing that I wanted to make sure was in a movie, and you can almost hear the round 1 fight.
It's funny because we're both gamers, and so we did get those gaming influences, and we were wondering how to frame a question.
Definitely.
What games inspire? It felt like an outlandish question, but apparently
there's a
not.
lot of anime influence and a lot of fighting game influence in the whole thing. Like Marco's a big fan of what is it, the Titans thing with the giant people?
Attack on Titan.
Yes. And some of the music reference is actually from that score. And I'm not so much like current anime, but like Akira and Vampire Hunter D were like really big influences, like almost as big as John Woo to me. So you see that sometimes in the framing or like little references here and there that may or may not be clear, but that's there for me.
I could see the Vampire Hunter D inspiration. I just recently got that on digital because they finally made it available.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's kind of some of the like kind of like stripped down loneliness may come from Vampire Hunter D.
Ooh, I love that. And that is, you did a really good job, by the way, of the Bruno's character being brooding, and you could tell he has PTSD, but you focused on the recovery, like you mentioned earlier. And I love the journey from beginning to end. Was there any character in these film where their arc was particularly hard to show on screen in a way that satisfied you as a director?
I think it could be Bruno, because you need it to be subtle and not, you don't want him to necessarily be a tragic figure because that becomes a different movie.
Sure.
But you want him to be someone that's relatable, and obviously his trauma comes from seeing his brother killed in front of him.
Which was a vicious scene, though. Vicious way to open the movie.
I should send you the makeup test for that.
I'd love to see it.
It's something we had our AD doing it to Elliot, the actor that plays his brother, and it's fun. But anyway, but you want to still tell that story, but leave it presented in a way where someone whose trauma could be from like the loss of a relationship or a child or something, where they can relate to it as well, even if they're not a combat veteran.
And he was so kind. His character, you could tell that there was like such a soft spot inside. You know what I mean? Like
damaged and not dangerous.
Right.
You know?
There may have been a discussion we had. I don't know. he and I spent like when he was doing that movie, the one with Batista, the what Killer's Game, I think is the name
The
of it.
Killer's Game, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He and I, even when he was doing the fights, we would make sure to have time where we would get on Zoom and just go through things. And I think we had a discussion about presenting him as a nice person. He's not he's not the he's not the like war veteran that's talking to himself on the street and comes across threatening. He's still he's internalizing a lot of it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's rather than him like he has skill, but he's not seeking out fights. He's self-destructive.
Yeah.
I
Which
can
was-
relate to that.
Yeah, it was beautifully illustrated.
I think many people can relate to that sort of like self-loathing when you feel like you failed someone.
Yeah, that screen time with him and Fitch when he's holding the gun, that was a very heavy scene.
Mhm.
Like I'm sure very relatable to having to deal with extreme things like that.
Yeah, anyone who's been at
Yeah.
the emotional breaking point, I think could relate to that kind of what do I do moment.
Yeah. Well, even down to the when he tries to sort of play it off lighthearted, like, oh, this gun.
Yeah.
I just handle my gun.
Yeah, some people, believe it or not, although I think it's more acceptable to talk about mental health these days than it was even like 10 years ago. They will mask their pain with humor like that.
Definitely.
That's why a lot of comedians can be really good in these serious roles, like Dane Cook and Mr. Brooks.
Sure.
Because they do, or Jim Carrey especially, because he's been through some shit.
That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Robin Williams famously said many times that it's hard being the one who makes people laugh because there's no one there to make you laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm paraphrasing, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when Robin Williams left the world, that's one of the, and it's almost like one of the four horsemen. Like that's when things started getting weird. Like him, Prince, like without any of these guys, stuff got a little strange.
Turning on that goddamn collider,
We lost our anchor beings.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. That's good.
Yeah. Well, some people would say like David Bowie was another one. It's yeah, like these sort of like immortal people that you put so much emotion into, like being a fan of them, and then they're gone.
Guys, I wanted to say definitely check out Affinity. Affinity comes out September 30th on digital and physical media. I'm a physical media guy, so I'll probably get it on Blu-ray. I'm just saying. But thanks, man. I appreciate you being here and talking to us on the show.
Well, thank you. It's what's funny is how on topic we stayed. Like on our last one, and usually any of them I do, no matter how long it is, we go nuts. But we stayed pretty on topic. Even the Brandon Lee offshoot was related.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? Congratulations to us then, I guess. We nailed it.
Yeah.
Squeezed in a bit of Star Wars.
Watch the other 15 that I do just be total chaos.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, we could talk about total chaos if you want to talk about total chaos. How do you... Well, we hope all you listeners out there enjoyed that interview with Brandon Slagle. We did. We enjoyed having it. Ryan, thank you for being there for that one.
Dude, thanks for setting it up. You and Lizzie, of course.
Lizzie is my wife and producer of the show, and she helped setting up the interviews. And it's nice to meet someone who isn't too big for their britches. I know what I mean?
He
They're
was
down to
really
earth.
he was really cool to talk to.
Absolutely. And guys, we still have a whole bunch more show to go. And in fact, we have our next segment, which is we're shifting from movies. Let's talk a bit about music on this week's
Music Mumbles.
So this is honestly the band we're about to talk about that I kind of missed out on. I think I was too busy listening to Norwegian black metal at the time.
Sure. And they would frown at any other music.
However, I know a couple of their hits, and I know a ton of people who love these guys, and I'm so glad that we're covering this. So let me just go ahead and jump right in. My Chemical Romance to play Comerica Park in 2026, and they'll have a special guest.
Oh.
This comes to us from Detroit Free Press. My Chemical Romance will play at Comerica Park on August 21st, 2026, as the band extends its stadium-sized celebration of the 2006 concept album, The Black Parade. Michigan native Iggy Pop is on board as an opener, his only show on the MCR tour, to play his biggest homecoming show in decades. It will be Pop's first Detroit performance in a decade.
Yeah. And I you know what's funny? My first introduction to Iggy Pop was the Crow City of Angels, because he played one of the villains in that, and it was arguably the worst Crow movie. I loved Iggy Pop in that.
Oh, okay. I'm sure Iggy Pop's one of those guys where I'm sure I know his music, but I don't know that I
Oh,
do.
yeah.
You know, you could play me a song, I'd be like, oh. So tickets will go on sale at noon Friday through Ticketmaster. The rock band revealed the show in a video post Monday morning. The Detroit date was among a batch of My Chemical Romance shows announced as the New Jersey band plots the next chapter in its Black Parade tribute tour. The group wrapped up the first round of concerts Saturday in Atlanta. Oh yeah, I recognize. Joe showed me a picture of Iggy Pop. Oh, I knew who he was. I'm just saying when it comes to his music, right? So like, I couldn't tell you one Iggy Pop song. The MCR concert is the second 2026 stadium show lined up for Detroit so far, following Ed Sheeran's announcement last week of an August date at Ford Field. Huh? I like me some Ed Sheeran.
Really?
I do.
Oh, I mean, I don't know why I laughed. I don't listen to him, so I don't know if it's good or bad. It's just kind of didn't expect you to say that. You've really broadened your music horizons.
Thank you.
You were strictly like metal, or what I would call light metal, like Mudvayne and Slipknot. But like it was still that, and kind of opposed anything that was popular, like many people who are
I feel like
I just saying.
Ed got me with he did a song for The Hobbit.
Okay.
And it was
Alright.
like called I See Fire. It was for the desolation of Smaug. And it was a good song. I see fire
That was him?
over
Oh.
the mountain.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah,
enough. I thought
yeah.
you were going to say his appearance in Game of Thrones as one of the
Oh,
Lannisters
And that
for
was
that one
good.
episode.
And that was good. And I remember, like, I think I told you that literally we just watched Game of Thrones for the first time for her first time.
Yeah.
My girlfriend. And when it came to that part, I was just like, do you know who that is? Like, I was so excited.
It's just kind of funny in that show, because it's like this whole show we're talking about this powerful family, and there are a lot of antagonists, and it's like, and our one cousin Greg, who just shows up at a campfire for one episode.
It was literally, that was it. Yeah, it was one episode, one and done. He was gone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, but yeah,
that is, none of that has anything to do with music.
whatsoever.
Speaking of things that don't have to do with music, we're all gonna die someday.
Remember that guy? Remember that gal? Well, now they're dead.
Elaine Merck Bender, one of the last surviving actors who played a munchkin in the 1939 classic The Wizard of Oz, has died, according to her daughter Annette Phillips. Bender auditioned for Wizard of Oz in 1938 and was selected as one of the 8 children who would dance and sing as part of the Munchkin Ensemble. Elaine Merck Bender was 94. Bender is survived by her son George, her daughter Phillips, and 6 grandchildren.
Well, way to go.
Bunch of little munchkins.
Well, it's little people don't tend to live that long. So living in 94, you know who else lived a long time is the guy who played R2D2, Kenny Baker. He lived in, and is like, he was like 84 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you heard this rumor, but back in the day, there was this rumor that all the munchkins on the set of Wizard of Oz were just partying and debauchery and just craziness. And so much so that they made a movie about it starring Carrie Fisher. Yeah. And Chevy Chase, believe it or not. It came out in 1981. It was Under the Rainbow. And it was like, not so much the making of the Wizard of Oz, but just the Munchkins shooting the Wizard of Oz and doing tearing up a hotel and being ridiculous, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, it's culturally, I shouldn't say culturally insensitive, but it's insensitive to little people for sure. It is definitely not a nice movie in that aspect, but like taking it as for what it is for when it was made, kind of really hilarious.
I would have loved to have been there. I mean, like, I could have partied with the munchkins.
Well, just partying with any large group of people would be hilarious. But yes, the Munchkins in general of just like, hey man, sup, smoking a blunt for Lollipop Guild. I'm just saying that would be kind of funny to say. At some point in my life.
Welcome you to Munchkin Land, man.
Well,
Dude,
unfortunately, we got a couple more people we got to say goodbye to. But if you want to see a ridiculous movie, try to find Under the Rainbow, 1981. And because of how ratings go, it is only PG, because Jaws was PG back then, too.
Really?
Yeah, Jaws is PG.
Oh.
Yeah, the PG-13 didn't come till later, man.
That's crazy to
So
me.
it was kind of like it's either R or acceptable for everyone. There was no middle.
Like, we're going to need a bigger boat.
Dude, Poltergeist is PG.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Those are real skeletons in that pool.
Yeah.
They didn't tell the actress that.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
All right, so moving along. Grammy-winning songwriter Brett James, known for penning hits including Carrie Underwood's Jesus Take the Wheel, died in a small-engine plane crash on Thursday. According to Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame, he was 57.
So does that mean Jesus did take the wheel or didn't?
It's not funny.
Is there a wheel in a plane? I mean, do they call it a wheel? I don't know. Like, so maybe he was like, dude, the song is Take the Wheel, not the throttle. Paula Shaw, who led a workshop called The Max at the Assailant Institute in Big Sur, California, for nearly 30 years, died Wednesday in her sleep in Vancouver after a lengthy illness. The veteran character actress who portrayed Jason's mother in horror crossover film Freddy vs. Jason and appeared in a string of heartwarming Hallmark Channel holiday movies was 84. That's awesome.
Well, she sure showed us what fear tastes like.
Dude, right? Like, no, that's awesome. I didn't realize that she played Jason's mother in Freddy vs. Jason. That's one of my favorite of like the horror movies of the early 2000s. Like,
Sure.
got that, Bride of Chucky, like all those movies. I don't know, they were so good.
Yeah, Bride of Chucky surprisingly was the mid 90s.
Oh.
Seed of Chucky was 2004.
I'm old.
But yeah, I liked her in that one. I thought she did a serviceable job. Betsy Palmer was offered the role, and she was the one who originally played Jason's mother. And she's very much an actress, and she didn't feel as though the role gave her anything to work with. And she even like made fun of the line. She's like, "Tell me what fear tastes like. What kind of line is that?" Like, she was throwing shade. So the original Betsy Palmer was not about it, but this woman did a very serviceable job as Jason
Indeed.
Voorhees' mother. And so to everyone out there who has passed away, well, we pour one out for you. And thanks for showing us your art.
Thank you very much. So I think that brings us to headlines.
Well, Ryan, give me some headlines.
Okay.
Earthling Entertainment headlines.
Number 1. Here's the first. Kenan Thompson to produce Sleepaway Camp remake. This comes to us from BloodyDisgusting.com. Can Sleepaway Camp work for modern audiences? We're about to find out. AFA, the production company of Saturday Night Live star Kenan Thompson, has acquired remake rights to the 1983 slasher, Deadline reports. Robert Hiltzik, who wrote and directed the original cult classic, is back at the helm to direct from his own screenplay. Development on the script is currently underway. Plot details have not been revealed, but Ryan Jr. promises we're staying true to the OG story while Robert adding in some insane new twists. As Deadline notes, while for decades Hiltzik and his wife have been approached for rights to the franchise, they've held out in hopes of a scenario where they can be involved in revitalizing it. I am both thrilled and humbled to be working with AFA on the reimagined Sleepaway Camp. Though I have been approached by several companies regarding the remake of Sleepaway Camp, only AFA has shared my vision and is excited to have me helm the film, therefore preserving the integrity of the original film for the fans, as well as introducing Sleepaway Camp to a whole new generation, says Robert Hiltzik. Be prepared for a new member of the Sleepaway Camp family. Excited to work with the original genius Robert and bring back to life a camp classic, says Kenan Thompson.
Yeah. So, Ryan, did you see the original Sleepaway Camp?
I did not.
Are you aware of what Sleepaway Camp is at all?
I am not.
Okay, so Sleepaway Camp is a slasher flick, and it turns out that this is a spoiler for a 40-something-year-old movie.
You son of a bitch.
But the main character, Angela, turns out that she is the one killing everyone. She is the killer. And then the big reveal at the end is that Angela is a man. So it ends where she's standing bottomless on the beach with like this crazy gaping stare, and she's just like freaking out, and they're like, oh my God, she's a boy. And that was the big reveal. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how you stay true to that original story and modernize it, because basically what happened was there was an accident when they were children, a brother and sister. One of them dies, and then it appears to be that the sister is the one that lived and then raised by the aunt. And it turns out that the aunt forced the boy to live his life as the sister.
Oh my God.
Yes. At the time, obviously, that was like, crazy mind-blowing stuff. Now, because of cultural opinions, I don't know how you do it in a way that is going to be commercially viable while still staying true to the original story.
I mean, yeah, that's still messed up, right? Like being forced to do it. That's one thing. Like, that's crazy. Like, yeah, that's a scary concept.
Well, that wasn't even the scary concept. That was just the reveal at the end. It was just a normal slasher film. But then they did a couple sequels, and it's funny because at the beginning of the second movie, they just throw away, oh no, they did surgery. She's a full girl now. Don't worry about it. But since we know Angela's the killer, it's just like a grown-up Angela who's just kind of at the camp to help out and just murders random people again for 2 more movies. And then they even had a 4th one called Return to Sleepaway Camp. I don't know. The point is, I am all for it because I love summer camp movies. I really do. And I love horror movies. And I love slashers. I would be dubious if someone came to me and said, hey, Joe, direct this or write this. It's playing with live wires, Ryan.
It really is. But I mean, we got Kenan at the helm.
He's a
helping
smart guy,
out. You know, like obviously the original creators at the helm, and you got Kenan. So I have high hopes. I'll definitely check that one out.
Well, Kenan Thompson was in a camp movie of his own in the 90s. He was in Heavyweights, the fat camp movie.
Yes, sir. I remember that with Ben Stiller. Right?
So, yeah, exactly. So what if this Sleepaway Camp was a secret sequel to Heavyweights and Sleepaway Camp? The same way Glass was a secret sequel. Split was a secret sequel to Unbreakable.
That's right. Yeah, because it was like they were trying to do their own like X-Men kind of thing, right?
And well, they did. They finished it off of Glass. It was argumentally.
I never saw it.
Well, they made a trilogy. Is all you need to know. It was Unbreakable, it Split, and then it was Glass. But maybe they're doing it again with Fat Camp Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp.
That's
Sleepaway
right.
Fat Camp. Heavyweights.
Yes,
2.
Heavyweights.
The Sleeping Camp Away.
And then bring in the kids from Camp Nowhere just for no reason to like just do a battle because those movies came out in like the same year.
Yeah, summer camps were big when we were kids. No wonder I love summer camp movies. I never got to go. I mean, I went to a day camp and I went to a place called Camp Dearborn, which is kind of like going to camp with your family. But I've never went to like summer camp where you go for a couple weeks as a kid on your own and, go on hikes. And I know you did a little bit.
I was going to say stairs and grew up in Cub and Boy Scouts. I literally had to go to literal summer camps every year and I had to camp at least once a month.
It's funny how
12 months a year.
It's funny how the grass is greener because it's like, while you're like, I hate it. I'm like, I'm envious of it.
I at the time, I was young. So, there were days where I was like, I didn't want to go. But looking back, I'm glad I did,
Well, I'm glad you weren't killed by a transgender psychopath.
I'm glad I wasn't either.
To be fair, I'm glad you weren't killed by any kind of psychopath. It doesn't matter how they identify. I'm just saying, I'm all about Ryan being alive.
I'm digging it. I'm breathing. This is great.
You know what I'm digging? The new James Gunn Superman universe.
Ooh.
He talked about dropping his next movie in only 2 years, 2027. And it looks like we've just learned a little bit more about that Superman sequel. The second headline.
James Gunn seemingly confirms Brainiac as the villain in the Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow. This comes to us from Nerdist.com. James Gunn is a man who does not like to hide things. In fact, he loves to talk about his upcoming productions with a candor that we can all enjoy. In the recent DCU hit Superman, there were actually no surprise cameos or Easter eggs that were thrown in just for shock value. Basically, we got what we were promised.
It's true. Did you end up seeing that movie yet?
Not yet.
It's a lot of fun. He starts out the movie just being like, superheroes have been around for like, ever. And these are a bunch of other things happen. He just throws you in it.
I like it when you can really immerse yourself into like a universe of a movie. Like you can really put yourself in there. So, which is why we are not surprised that James Gunn has gone ahead and basically confirmed that Brainiac will be the villain for the upcoming Superman sequel movie, Man of Tomorrow. James Gunn recently shared an image of Man of Tomorrow's script, and the decorating it was, of course, a brain. Live action Brainiac, here we come.
Yeah. To be fair, he didn't actually confirm anything. He literally shared a photo on his social media of the cover of the script with a picture of a brain, and that is it. Now, does that pretty much guarantee it's going to be Brainiac? Yeah, probably. But no one officially said it. So if it ends up not being Brainiac, we're just letting you know, not an official announcement.
We already saw a few hints that Brainiac was almost included in the first Superman movie. But it seems like Gunn decided to save up the Superman villain so that he could do him justice. We know that Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow, will see Lex Luthor and Superman having to work together to a certain degree against a much, much bigger threat. And now it feels like that threat will be Brainiac. And that makes a lot of sense because it turns out that in DC Comics history, as well as in Superman, the animated series, Lex Luthor and Brainiac have traditionally been enemies themselves. It could be a powerful motivation to bring Lex Luthor and Clark Kent together in Man of Tomorrow as they fight Brainiac. I honestly would love to see that.
I would too. Brainiac was going to be a villain in the Nicolas Cage Superman movie that was going to come out before Wild Wild West, the one that Tim Burton was going to direct, that Kevin Smith wrote a version of the
Yep.
draft. Yeah, Brainiac was going to be the villain in that.
That's right.
So I'm excited because I never got to see him.
Where James Gunn will go with Brainiac, we can't yet say, but it seems that he may lean into Krypton connection to make Superman Man of Tomorrow a Superman family film. Perhaps Gunn might even introduce Superboy or Connor.
I really
Kent.
hope we don't get Superboy. I mean, but I didn't think Crypto would work in live action. So I don't know.
I don't know either, but I will say that this is just like straight up, I've always hated Superman. He just always felt like a guy who just came up with powers like at all times, like from what I grew up knowing about him. But then I saw like the Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, and I loved it, but it's mainly I loved it because they made it more of an alien story as opposed to like a superhero story.
Well,
Wait,
fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like they focused more on that, and that's why I liked that one. So
I did like seeing more of Krypton. You got to see like, what is it, Russell Crowe riding a dragon as Jor-El in that
Yep.
2011 Man of Steel movie. But you know what else is? They had a sci-fi show that lasted 2 seasons called Krypton, and I just like seeing Krypton. I just do. We never see enough of it, and and we got absolutely no Krypton in this James Gunn movie. So if we get Brainiac to become a Kryptonian creation, maybe we'll get to see more of the planet.
that'd be sweet. So, in any case, Brainiac's arrival to the DCU's Superman Man of Tomorrow will mark his first live action appearance on the big screen. Rejoice!
Rejoice! I love that. There's a lot of things to rejoice about. There's a lot of good movies coming out too. Do you give a crap? We were talking earlier about Sleepaway Camp. We have another slasher film that has an installment coming out. The I would say long awaited at this point, Scream 7. As you guys may or may not know, Jenna Ortega and Sofia Bertella, I believe her name is. I'm sorry, that last one may be wrong. But the two actresses that were the leads in the last two films, Jenna Ortega left and the other girl was fired. So they had to rework the whole script. And it's taken them a few years to get everything going. And to compensate for losing the stars of their film, they literally went back and grabbed every single person they could from the old movies. They brought back dead killers. They brought back every killer. Matthew Lillard's going to be in it. Everybody's back. And I assume they're doing flashbacks. I assume they're not just been alive this whole time, but we'll see. Scream 7's turning out to be crazy, and we just got more news.
Hayden
Pantier.
Thank you. Pantier to return as Kirby Reed in Scream 7.
She's the cheerleader from Heroes. Remember? Save the cheerleader, save the world.
That's right.
Yeah, she was in Nashville, too. It was a big show for her.
And she will reprise her role as Kirby Reed in Scream 7, according to EW. The fan favorite character was first introduced as the horror-loving sidekick turned survivor in Scream 4. She returned in Scream 6 and now a FBI special agent. EW reports that Pantier will team up with Neve Campbell's Sidney Prescott for the latest installment in the slasher saga, due out on February 27th, 2026.
Which actually makes sense, because, like, you know, in the last movie, it was established that she was working as an FBI agent studying this. Like, you know, if anyone's going to, you know, team up with your heroine, it makes sense it'd be someone actually in law enforcement, because Sydney's not a teenager running from a serial killer anymore. She's an adult woman. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to call a cop or an FBI agent. I ain't going to dick around. Be like, this is psycho.
Like, it's
I've done
happening
this 4 times.
It's happening again.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is in the same mask trying to stab me again. What is going on here?
It's just kind of funny because it's the one thing about Scream movies is they're always whodunits. So there is no Ghostface because they're always just, you know, different people that have their own reasons for being the killer. I wonder how weird it would be if they tried to do it like Michael Myers did in like their 6th movie, where they just suddenly say, oh, there's a supernatural force behind it, and all these killers were possessed by a single demon called Stabby Stabby, and if you get possessed by the Stabby Stabby demon, you want to be a Ghostface.
All hail Stabby Stabby.
I'm just saying, where do you go? Where do you go? It's funny to think Sidney Prescott, like, who's still got beef with Sidney?
I know, dude. Who cares?
Damn. I guess we'll find out.
Scream 7 is directed by original Scream writer Kevin Williamson from a script by Guy Busick. The plot is expected to focus on Sidney Prescott and her family approximately 2 years after the events of Scream 6. Additional note from Earthling Entertainment. It's important to realize that this news has not yet been confirmed. The source is Entertainment Weekly. However, they did not report about the actress returning as a story. They mentioned she would be returning to the horror franchise in an offhand comment in a different article. So while this is probably true, it's still technically a rumor. So, I mean, you know me, I fell off a Scream, I think, at 3. So that's just kind of where I'm at with this series. I'm kind of done. I'm not going to lie. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think it's great that they're still going with it, but I don't know. I guess the slasher film kind of lost me.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Scream 1 through 3 was kind of Sydney's story, and then it kind of came to a close. Now, Scream 4, it was 2011, I believe, and it kind of did a fun thing where it was playing off the idea, much like the first one was playing off the idea of horror movies. This one was playing off the idea of horror reboots. So it was Sydney's, spoiler for Scream 4, Sydney's cousin ended up being the killer, and she did it because she wanted to get famous. She was trying to basically do a real-life Scream reboot. And it actually was pretty clever.
That does sound cool.
Yeah. Then when they came out with 2020 Scream, which I hate that they just called it Scream and not Scream 5, they basically took a character from the first film, the main killer from the first film, Billy, and made him apparently knocked some chick up before he died. And the main character of number 5 is the killer's daughter from the first movie.
I mean,
so they all are connected.
Yeah, it's not a huge stretch.
And then there's Gale Weathers in every fucking movie.
Well, I mean, because you need Gale Weathers.
She's
the best. She's the best.
I do like Courtney Cox in that movie.
April O'Neil, you know?
Kinda.
So that brings us to unfortunately, our last headline, Joe.
Oh, yeah. You hate to see it, Ryan.
Especially this. Headline number 4. Tom Holland suffers head injury during Spider-Man Brand New Day stunt. This comes to us from IGN.com. Tom Holland was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance after suffering a head injury while shooting a Spider-Man Brand New Day stunt. Ambulance services were called to Leavesden Studios in Watford, England, after Holland sustained the injury. UK newspaper The Sun confirmed with East of England Ambulance Service they were called at 10:30 on last Friday to attend to a patient who had sustained an injury. An ambulance was sent to the scene, and the patient was transported to the hospital for further care. The Sun said Holland was treated for concussion after he cracked his head on a fall. The 29-year-old Marvel star later appeared at a charity dinner in Mayfair with his father, Dominic, and co-star and fiancée Zendaya posing for pictures.
So he at least was on his feet, if nothing else.
Yeah, so at least he was able to show up.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he did have to leave shortly after because he started feeling ill. Oh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. It says here there are conflicting reports on how the injury will affect the production of Spider-Man Brand New Day. The Sun quoted Holland's dad as saying that he would be away while filming for a while. However,
But that's someone's dad. You know, your dad's
Yeah.
always gonna be like, look, he needs care.
Yeah,
You leave
get-
him alone.
give him a minute.
And then the money people are like, well, you know, we lose $1 million every 10 minutes we're not filming, so.
Yeah, it's complicated. However, Variety described the concussion as mild and said Holland will take a break from filming as a precaution and return to set in a few days. So here's an update. On September 22nd, filming on Spider-Man Brand New Day will resume next week after its star Tom Holland suffered a mild concussion while filming a stunt. According to Hollywood Reporter, Sony Pictures ultimately decided to shut down production for the week rather than to film without Holland. That's nice.
Yeah. But, you know, they didn't necessarily have to, though, because there's always other things you could film. You could film B-roll. You could film, like, second unit stuff, action scenes with stunt people. I assume he didn't do all his stunts. He's not Tom Cruise. Clearly, he
Right.
did at least one.
Yeah. Well, the dude, he's so good at that role. I've seen him train. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it's not about his ability to do it. It's about the liability of him doing it, because if something like this happens and he got more seriously injured, look at the Highlander movie. Henry Cavill pushed that movie back like 6 months now.
Yeah, that's true. The trade says the delay is not expected to push back the Marvel movie's release. So, Spider-Man Brand New Day currently has a release date of July 31st, 2026.
Wow.
Next
Yeah.
year's going to be lit. There's going to be a lot of good movies.
The next 2 years, actually, as far as movies are concerned, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things coming up.
Yeah, but you know what? Something is coming to an end, Ryan. This episode. Oh, well, you know, we had a good one, guys. It was a great interview. We had a lot of fun topics, a few celebrity deaths, really spooky stuff today.
Decapitated heads.
Decapitated heads.
intestines.
Anytime you could have decapitated heads and you have a scuba guy thief in one episode, I think we nailed it.
Scuba Steve. Damn you.
So, guys, do us a favor. If you haven't already, please leave us a review anywhere that you listen to this podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible. That'd be great. And if you don't want to do that, well, just download the episode and we'll call it even.
But reviews make us feel so good.
That's true. Ryan, he has a mission for you.
Share this podcast, this particular episode, and honestly, every single episode with your grandma, with your papa, with everybody that you know, with your coworker, with your friends. Like, seriously, guys, if you like what we're doing, please share us around. Tell everybody about it.
And from all of us here at Earthling Entertainment,
See ya. Goodbye.